Yeah.
Did I?
I can't remember what we were talking about, but he said something. I think someone was talking really loud at work, and you were like, "Jesus Christ, get on your mic, Pat, and megaphone while I don't you?" And I was like, "What?"
He was bashing the employee in her one-on-one. We could hear her. She had the door shut, but she's so loud. And apparently can't hear herself. She's just bashing this employee. We're like,
It was so. He's like, Jesus Christ.
hello.
He's like, Mike Patton. What the? He's like, Jesus Christ, Mike Patton. Oh, so funny.
Put him on blast.
Oh, so good. We ready?
I believe so.
I believe. If we open our books to chapter 37.
The Lord said to David, Joseph was his brother.
Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. And it also says, it's time for another episode of Whatchu Spinnin. How we doing, folks?
We're good.
Killing it.
It's sunny today. It's, kind of wintry weather, but it's sunny today. It's sunny. So
It's that sunny and 40 fucking degrees.
Yeah, we know we'll take it.
We'll take
Bright
it.
sunshine, putting smiles on our faces,
Hell yeah.
talking about music. Yeah.
Talking about music. This is Whatchu Spinnin, your favorite music album review podcast. I'm your host, Dorian, joined with me, as always, by Jake and Matt, giving our weekly weather report here, not the jazz band. It's episode 61, our first episode back to the formula after the hip-hop bracket, which was pretty freaking fun, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
It feels kind of new now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of different.
Right?
It was so hip-hop oriented for that last few weeks.
Yeah. Oddly enough, still found myself going back and listening to some hip hop. I was like, once you like it, man. I was like, I figured I'd be burnt out. No, I was still going back listening to some stuff.
Too.
Yeah, I don't want to be too quick on bringing up a hip hop album again, but it might come up.
Yeah, that was my thing too. I was like, fuck, man, because I had 7 different ideas of something to bring up, and a hip hop album kept coming up in there, and I was like, God damn it, we gotta wait just a little bit.
No, but the picks on this week, I like jumping back into just the formula, the setup that we have, and kind of individualizing these picks where I get more time with them each and appreciate them a lot more. So I got a lot to say about these.
Oh yeah,
sweet,
for sure.
Yeah.
One thing I realized I didn't ask last time we met, which would have been better to put it there, but either way, did you guys? We had a lot of time with those 32 albums, So by the end of it, before the last episode, I didn't listen to anything other than Haram and Good Kid, Mad City just to figure out that matchup. Was there anything that you found yourself going back to that you're like, shit, I haven't listened to this in forever, or did you discover anything new music wise in that time?
A little bit more towards the deeper picks that we had picked through the bracket. Like Matt, I was going more into soul food with Goody Mob, and then got myself back into Pray for Haiti, and then I was diving more into RTJ. Yeah. So those I was kind of diving more into, but apart from that, it was just hip hop I was focusing on, and now to kind of go into
you're kind of straying away from it.
Now I'm okay, let's go into different stuff. But I was super embedded into it, I was just invested.
Oh hell yeah. I mean, I was I don't know why, I was just I'm so familiar. I was I know kind of my thoughts on this. I don't need to spend too much time, and so I got into some weird shit. I don't know if I cut it or kept it in last episode, but got into Machine Girl, which was super interesting. Listened to a lot of the Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack, which is a banger. Good old Sega video games. Obviously got back into Idols. Further, Matt, you got me into their album Crawler, and I feel you brought up Idols to me. You're like, oh, I've been listening to these guys. I was like, dude, let's just trade. I was like, you like them? Check this out. You're like, well, you should check this out. And so that was pretty fun. And then I got heavy into Rufus Du Sol, Tin Liquor, some more deeper house stuff. I was just kind of all over the place. I was everything but hip hop for a while there. and then obviously just the bracket in and of itself. Yeah.
I dove back into Bone Thugs a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like walk down that lane for a minute. Because it's a lot of, before that album, even Art of War, the East 99 was a great album. Or
Yeah.
1999. So that was nostalgic for sure. That was fun.
I know that we're big, obviously Arm & Hammer fans, and I feel like we, have talked a lot about Billy Woods' solo stuff. I actually picked up, I haven't bought it yet. It's on my radar. I Told Bessie by Elucid. That album of his, that solo project is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn. That was my first time really diving into one of his solo projects, and that was more in the past like couple of weeks. I was like, god damn. It's like, this album kicks ass. Yeah. And now it's like I have it on my radar, like already in the want list. Like, really scoping out to get that one.
The Nostrum Grocers, that album's really good too.
Oh yeah.
By Elucid. I think he's really good as a duo with Billy Woods, but just his individual stuff, it's really good too. You should definitely, if you like Arm & Hammer and them as a duo, you would like him individually. Because I feel like I don't see him really outside of just working with Arm & Hammer.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't realize how much of a back catalog he had.
Yeah, he has a lot of solo stuff and collaborative stuff with producers. So,
hell yeah. Well, anything else we want to talk about before we dive in? Or should we just go for it?
Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's rip right into it.
Step it up.
It's Whatchu Spinnin, episode 61. And to start off today's festivities, I'm bringing up 2018's Joy as an Act of Resistance by British band Idols. They don't like being called punk music, but goddamn it, does it sound a lot like it. I've got quite a bit to say about it. I dissected this album in the past 7 hours. Been up since 5. So yeah, I really dissected this album. I dissected the fuck out of this album this morning while I was doing my notes. So I'll take a little bit of a breather from that. But what do y'all have to say about it?
Well, I think you opened it up, like you said, when we traded ideas with Crawler and this album. I was impressed. I was like, Crawler's pretty good. Like, what are you going to give me that's better? And I was like, shit. The first 3 tracks on this album are amazing. I was like, man, these guys are solid. So Idols, I've only seen a few things of them live, like on YouTube, but what a good show that would be live to go see them, because the energy they bring from what I've seen on TV and even on their studio albums, what you hear in the energy behind his voice and even the musicians playing their music, man, they got energy.
Yeah. The live video, speaking of, just real quick, is actually what got me, like, introduced me to Idols. I was watching, like, Korn at Rock am Ring, like, 2007, and the next suggested video, like, once that finished, it was like, Idols, Never Fight a Man with a Perm, live at, like, Donington or some British festival, and I was like, okay, that song title alone is enough to bring me in, and so I watched that performance and listened to that song, and immediately I listened to that song like 5 times a day for like a month straight, just blasting that. And then that was when I got back into listening in the full albums, and so from then on I was like, god damn, this album.
It's fun to watch them live because all those musicians are so individual and like doing their thing.
Yeah.
And the one that I saw the video was them performing a few tracks off this, and I saw off Crawler too. So that mix of both. Yeah, that's cool.
That sounds sick.
They kick ass. They're really cool. They're really good. I did really like this, and it is very British. It feels very British. Like, it feels like what Arctic Monkeys would be like if they like just stayed in the UK and like had a thick accent. Yeah,
I refer to them as aggressively British, and not because of the music. Like, it's just the way that they talk and sound. It's like, god damn.
Yeah. But it rules. Like, it's fucking really good. It's really cool. Everything about it. Yeah, it's not only their lyrics. They have like, catchy, funny one-liners, and then like stuff that just sticks with you, it's very catchy. But they're playing, their style, everything, it is like, I don't know, why don't they like being called like punk rock? Because it feels like that, like it.
I don't know, honestly. That's like all I've seen is like, there was at a concert, Joe Talbot, the singer, was like, we're not a fucking punk band, and it's like, I mean, I get it,
like indie rock. I don't know, kind of, but it's in like the same field. Like it feels very much like that. But
well, I think also to make a point real quick, I think indie and punk, like the lines between them got super blurred back in like 2015-ish, somewhere back then, and so they probably identify more with the indie side, but the genres are so crossed over at this point that, yeah, I get it, but it's funny that they are so adamant about it.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, more power to them, because whatever it is, you know, like, it rules. Like, it's fucking awesome. All the tracks on it, like, this whole album, it's really no filler. Everything about it's really good. Yeah, from, like, the first, like, 4 or 5 tracks, there's just banger after banger.
Yeah, Colossus, that two-parter.
Yeah, it just starts it off, and you think if the song's over, it's the same song almost. I thought it switched.
Same.
Nope.
All the wrestling references at the end, like
I
Ted
know,
DiBiase.
like old school 80s
Fred
wrestlers.
Astaire.
You're like, how old is this guy? But like, you know,
It's like, goddamn.
I love it.
I did
love
catch
it.
that too, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard that the first time you told me about this album. I heard that. I was like, you just referenced Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
What the hell's going
I
on?
was like, yeah, baby. It's but then you, like, what I did this morning was I really sat there and listened to it. And this was an album that even, you know, upon me revisiting it a couple months back, I fell in love with different halves of it at different times. Like I'd be obsessed with it for like a week, fall in love with the first half of it. A couple weeks later, I'd be obsessed with the second half.
Right.
And the second half is it's all so strong all together. But the second half, it really gets, like, the lyricism gets very introspective and, you know, very like self-love, positive and shit like that.
It does.
Which is cool to see, especially from a genre, or, you know, like the music that sounds the way it does, you know? And it just talks, it's like a very vulnerable album.
Very introspective, I think. From what I read, it's about his kind of like thought process, you know, what he was going through in that time and going through that masculine phase and like all those different ideas in there.
Yeah. Samaritans, that whole song is about like, he said it's about, there's a video I saw of them performing it, and he said this song's about the struggle of vulnerability or something like that. And he was quoted as saying that's kind of what the whole album is. And if you look at songs that don't reference that in particular, he has a whole song about his stillborn kid on here.
I saw that, June, right?
Yeah, June. Yeah. And it's like, dude, it's like, god damn, this is a deep ass album.
Right, that is deep. So, you know, put yourself out there like that.
Yeah. And then even like the song Danny Nadolko, it was a single on this, and it's like catchy. It kind of sounds like it's like a soccer chant, you know, the way that they're singing it. But then it's like, you know, who is this? Like, why are they singing the whole song about this? And yeah, it's like there's like a story about it. I guess it's like a friend that he had at one point, and it kind of has like ties of like immigration and like stuff that like is very like telling to now day and age. So it has a lot more meaning to it, this album. Like there's a lot more deeper.
Yeah, like television is a good example of that. Like self-love and like you know, don't let yourself get taken down by the outside influences that are coming at you every day. You know, be yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself.
I'd push their teeth through. Like and that's the thing, is that sometimes it's the way that they write their music and that he writes his lyrics is like very clever, because sometimes it's so over, like it's just so heavy-handed with like the love yourself stuff, but and it's almost like tongue-in-cheek in a way, to where he's like, yeah, this is goofy as hell that this is what our music sounds like, and we're literally just telling you to love yourself, and then we're randomly saying fuck TV, like randomly, like it's like, all right. It's like, and I love that they like lean into that. You know, their guitarist wears like a dress or just his underwear on stage. Like they just
seen that.
they just seem like they have the most fun.
They do. Seems like it.
No, I like that they don't take themselves too seriously. And I guess we kind of see that in the music. Like, yeah, it is like the lyrics that they're having and what they're writing about. You know, it's serious, but at the same time, what they're portraying, you know, it's like kind of different. But I mean, it's nothing to laugh at. Like this album is really great. I've seen a lot more like people talk about their first album also that was really good, and then you
that
guys
also
also
started. Yeah, I forgot what that was called.
Brutalism.
Yeah, Brutalism, and
that's a
then
good one
like
too.
you guys are talking about Crawler, and I want to get into like listening to that now because these guys rule, dude. These guys are fucking really good.
yeah, I'm very happy that I like shout out the YouTube algorithm sometimes, man.
Right? It works.
It really does its job sometimes. Just there's just so many. I just could just talk about this whole track list. Just give like 5 minutes to each song. Like Graham Rock, where it's like,
that's a great song too.
I'm sorry your granddad's dead. Lovely spread. It's like what the fuck? It's like, god damn it, dude.
I was working out in the gym and that song came on and I'm like, whoa, what? I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And like you said, they don't take themselves too seriously, and I think they put that out in their music. You know, and they're like, we're not making this for you. This is us. We're vulnerable just like you guys are.
Yeah.
And people like it like us.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking great music.
It is just
Good
so
songwriting too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's unique in its own right. Like there's not like the fact that this album did as well as it did in the year it came out, like 2018, which was kind of just an all over year for music as it were. And then for this to like grind out like and be like one of the top 10 albums that came out back then is phenomenal and really speaks to their musicianship and the work within it.
Yeah.
Any final arguments, or would we want to do top thrizzles?
Throw it up.
All right. Jake, anything?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, top threes. Honorable mentions for me. Never Fight a Man with a Perm.
Don't do it.
It's just fantastic. Great name, great song. Another honorable mention, just mentioned this song, Graham Rock. Fell in love with that one in the past couple weeks. Just, again, great. Number 3, speaking of, is the song Great for me. Don't know why. Just that one just makes you want to sing along. Number 2, Samaritans. Message behind that is insane. And then I don't know why, but him screaming, "I kissed a boy and I liked it," and then that it just goes so fucking hard. It's not even fair. And then number 1, I'm Scum. Because if there's one thing that I'll happily admit is I'm a little bit of a fucking scumbag, okay? Yeah, those are my top 3s.
Nice.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go honorable mention Great. Because you can sing all of these songs you can listen to. Like they're all super catchy. There's something about every single one. Like them spelling out great, or like for my number 3, Colossus. You know, it's, and it goes and it goes and it goes, and then like it's always something you get from each song. So number 3, Colossus. I'm gonna go Danny Nedelko second, and then my favorite song was Samaritans.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Great pick.
Honorable mention for me was Colossus. Always good with an album starting off with a great song. That's such a catchy tune, like you just said. Number 3 was Samaritans. Number 2 was Great. It's a great song. It's great. And number 1 was Television.
Television.
My
Hell
favorite
yeah.
song, man. It was so good.
That was that was one that it took a while for it to catch my ear.
It did,
and
too.
once
I've heard
it
this
did,
album, numerous times, and I was like, dude, this song is just like, it's just a positive vibe all the way through, and it makes you just want to, love yourself.
exactly.
Yeah.
When we love that.
Yeah.
Well, that was Idol's Joy as an Act of Resistance from 2018. I almost called it Never Fight a Man with a Perm because I've had to remember that this whole time. My pick for this week. We'll be right back to talk about Jake's. Peace. Well, it's time to continue on with episode 61 of Whatchu Spinnin. To do that, we're going to go ahead and steer away from what we just covered with Jake's pick for this week.
Yeah, so this week I'm trying to put y'all in the feels, the lovey-dovey feels. I'm going 2017, Daniel Caesar, Freudian. Came out in 2017. It's an R&B album. Some great stuff. I fell in love with this initially when I stumbled upon it, and then I dived into all his music. It's very easy listening, but what are your guys' thoughts on it?
It drew me in right away. Like, it's like you said, like the feely, good, like almost slow vibe, which I appreciated all the way through. And I haven't really listened to R&B too often, so it was cool to kind of get back into it. And I'd never heard of him. He's from Canada, I think, right? Yeah. He's been doing it for a while too.
Yeah.
It's rare nowadays to get like a more instrument driven R&B album that's not, you know, so heavy like on production, like beats wise, you know, like to compare it to things like Bryson Tiller's albums that have come out, you know, those are more like beats influences. This is like more guitar driven without, you know, that being the focus of it, you know, as if it were a John Mayer album. So that was what I appreciated, and his voice is fucking beautiful. So that combined with these great instrumentals and everything, it's like, damn. I was thinking this morning listening to it, I was like, damn, I could listen to an instrumental version of this. I could listen to him recite my local phone book over these instrumentals, like, just because his voice is that gorgeous. Like, top to bottom, this album is nuts. And I was telling y'all that people that I know, like, so many people I've talked to this week, or not so, you know, I've talked to a lot of people this week about the podcast. They're like, oh, you're back to the formula, like, what's getting brought up? And out of all three albums, everyone's like, oh, I know the Daniel Caesar album for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like, that was just a consistent. So that really says something, because, I mean, the guy kind of rules, honestly.
Yeah.
It kicks ass.
Yeah, he's got a really great voice. I've gotten this as a gift for some of my friends. I gave this as a wedding gift to Caesar.
Oh, hell yeah.
With some other records. And yeah, he really liked it. I mean, it's fantastic. Like, R&B, I feel like it's a genre that we haven't talked about a lot on the podcast. Just because it's kind of hard for, I don't know, just to get in the mindset of R&B for me sometimes. Cause, you know, I'm very much like beat hip-hop driven and instrumental and soul and funk. So R&B kind of in that genre, in that field, but it's you know, it's its own thing with the lyrics are always different. But yeah, I thought I'd bring this one up because it's definitely, like Daniel Caesar, he's gotten so big lately.
Yeah.
He had like a song with Justin Bieber, Peaches, that was like reached like top 1 in the US or whatever. It was like his big hit or whatever. But that's besides the point. This album in itself, I feel like I appreciate a lot because just the production on it, the features. I mean, he's got Kelly Uchis on it. He's got
another great instrumentalist.
Yeah, Sid on there.
Sid, like it's a great album front to back. And yeah, lately, like, been my favorite R&B album, like in the past recent years.
Yeah,
this is the album I kept going back to out of all the ones this week for me. I liked it when I was driving. It was good for me.
Yeah,
just mellow, not stressful. Even if I was pissed off at somebody in front of me because they can't drive.
Yeah,
his voice made it all better.
Yeah,
it was kind of nice.
Exactly, it is. You bring up a good point. You know, I feel like all three of us, R&B might be like the hardest. It is like a switch in our brain, you know, because we all like, you know, the way I've always described this is that it's a 3-sided Venn diagram of like our music tastes, and then we all have other things that we're just so deeply rooted in. You know, yours being like hip hop beats and instrumentation, Matt, yours being whatever the fuck, because you out of left field, and and then, you know, mine being, you know, the more metal thing. So all of that to be said, it is like a literal switch for all of us to have to get into an R&B mood. But this one was, again, I found myself going back to it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, like R&B, like when I first heard it, I was like, I know I'm going to have to make this like I'll listen to this like cooking or something, you know. But then I was like driving to work and I was like, let's throw on some fucking Danny C's. Let's see what's going on with this bad boy. And I was like, damn, all right. Yeah, I was like, found myself just, it's the one to get me into that mood. You know?
Yeah. I found myself listening to this also on driving, and I was going to the gym, and I'm like, fuck it, let's just play this at the gym. I switch it off pretty quickly because it's definitely not my vibe for the gym, but for a little bit I caught myself like, you know, working out, so I was like, okay. So there's like a time and place for every genre, I feel like, but R&B, it's more like a self-loving thing for me, like like it makes me feel good, and then it also, like, if I'm with family or friends or like someone I care about, I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
And it's more sentimental that way to me. just with the lyrics and the instrumentation. Get You, that's how I stumbled upon this album.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it had Kali Uchis, because I saw that she was on that song years ago, and I'm like, oh, I know who Kali is. I don't know who this guy is, so let me hear it. And yeah, it just like flipped the switch in my brain, and next thing you know, I'm buying the album, I'm ordering it. And everything about it, man, like I don't know what it is, but it just does something to me. I didn't know either. Bad Bad Not Good.
I saw that earlier today.
Produced on that
like,
song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn.
And they they're the ones playing the instruments in it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Really
We
cool.
love that.
That's cool.
We love a good Terminator timeline.
Yeah. And I always like a good title track.
Oh yeah.
This Freudian was fucking an amazing song.
Oh yeah.
I like that song.
Yeah, the second, also, to piggyback on the thing that you love about it, I also love a hidden track within a song, where it'll have like 30 seconds of silence, just like, Colossus on the last album we talked about.
Yep.
Having that long gap, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it reminded me of, that part to it had a very, Blonde. By Frank Ocean. It kind of it reminded me of that. I was like, oh, he's doing a little bit of like Blonde-esque shit to like finish this album out. I was like, I dig. Not to say that that's exactly what he was doing, was like making a nod to Frank Ocean, but I was like, I like that. I was like, that's a good way to hem this album up, wrap it up. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, there is a couple like not beat switches, but like transitions to like a different feel in the same song.
Yeah.
Like Hold Me Down has that. It kind of has that towards the end of it, like this like acapella side, and then New Roses also the second half, it has just like a funky bass line with and
the hardest beat switch I've heard since The Summoning came out.
Yeah. And yeah, man, like every song has its own little like click to it. So yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. Definitely, if you like Daniel Caesar, all his he just came out with a new album that's really good. Case Studies is fantastic also. That one he has like Brandy and Pharrell and a couple other like big names on it, but yeah, definitely I feel like time to get back into some more R&B.
Yeah.
And I think you bring up the artists in that genre pretty well, like D'Angelo and things like that, you kind of ease them in there. So
Yeah. Gotta go to the classics.
Keep doing it, because
Yeah.
I like hearing stuff like this that I've not listened to before.
Yeah.
And becoming a fan of that artist after hearing it. So good album pick.
Very good. I was trying to remember where I had heard Daniel Caesar's name before. I was like, where have I heard this name? And then once I heard his music, I was like, I don't know where I fucking heard it before. Probably. And then you said the Justin Bieber thing. I was like, that's probably just by proxy where I've heard it before. But now I'm, genuinely impressed. I feel like he probably did it on purpose, but the flow of the album, just felt, the first half of it just seemed like it all just rolled right one into the next, which, as we know, I love that shit. So, great features, great stuff all the way. Beat switches on it were nuts. Kind of had a good mix of like the softer R&B stuff, a little slower, and then the more stuff that is accessible, for like lack of a better word. You know what I mean? So, I was definitely a fan.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you want to top thrice it?
Yeah. So,
Top thrice
it. That is Dorian's favorite band.
No. Your favorite. You beat me to it. I was gonna. I was gonna fucking do it. But yeah, go ahead.
Honorable mention. Every other song on the. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Honorable mention. I'm gonna go. Take Me Away. Because I love that Sid's on this. Sid, I feel like she's so underappreciated as like a female artist. Everything that she has done with the internet is amazing. So I love that she's on a big album like this.
Yeah.
Top three, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Get You. Number 3. Number 2, Hold Me Down. And then my favorite song, it's really a toss-up between New Roses, but today I'm going to say it's Blessed. Blessed is my favorite song.
Hell yeah.
For now. It switches between those two, but really like any put the full like side A on this, and
It was good.
It's flawless.
Good.
Hell yeah. Rock on. I'll go next. Honorable mentions for me. Transform. Good one toward the end there. And then Best Part with Her. Great feature on that. Love that song. Number 3 for me was Blessed. Did like that song. Number 2, New Roses. And then number 1 for me was Take It Away. Did love that Sid feature on there.
Nice.
Same honorable mention was for me, Take Me Away. 3 was Transform. 2, Best Part. And then my top track was We Find Love.
Hell yeah. Rock on.
Great song, nice.
Hell yeah. Well, that was Daniel Caesar's Freudian, however the hell you say it, Freudian.
Freudian.
Which came out in 2017.
Yes, sir.
2017. Jake's pick for episode 61 of Whatchu Spinnin'. We're going to go ahead and wrap this baby up by talking about Matt's. But first, a quick break. Saturday games, what the hell?
And there's one at 5:15 too. Broncos Lions.
Ooh.
That'll be worth watching.
And they're gonna end just in time to watch Sábado Gigante.
Bengals won. Bengals.
The big guy.
Bengals.
You gotta put that. You gotta leave that in.
I'm going to. That's like the first thing it caught was you saying the games are going to end just in time for Sunday. You fuck.
Gigante.
All right. Well, yeah. I'm pinche nerdo. Well, we're back to wrap it up here on episode 61 of Whatchu Spinnin', your favorite album review podcast. We're going to go ahead and have Matt introduce his pick to start us off.
Yes, going back to 2008, a band called My Morning Jacket. Yes, that's right, My Morning Jacket. Evil Urges is the album.
Mm-hmm.
I found this band back when I was in California, back in like the early 2000s. It's very indie. A lot of the stuff before this album is very like acoustic guitar driven, but he's such a good songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
He does a cover of Tyrone by Erykah Badu. That's sick. It's so good. You guys need to look it up. It's so good. He has an album of cover songs, and that's one of them. But this album is very cool. They're all great musicians out of Kentucky. His voice can go from like the grungy to the high Jeff Buckley falsetto at. It's really cool to hear him sing, and the diversity with this album is really really cool compared to the other ones they have. With that falsetto, you get Highly Suspicious being a song that you just like, what is this the same album?
Yeah,
It's the same song or same singer. But I love these guys. I have a few other of their albums. I got Z on vinyl too. That's a good album. But what do you guys think?
I mean, My Morning Jacket. It's another one of those bands that I have seen their name so many times, never listened to on my own, but from seeing them on like festival lineups and stuff, I'm like, that's got to be a good band. And lo and behold, they fucking are. You talk about this album and the diversity on it, and it's very true. Highly Suspicious. It's like as if somebody who was really into Mike Patton and Angel Dust by Faith No More wrote a song. It's like if you got AI, right, or ChatGPT, and you said, write me a song, and then you gave them like RV and a couple other songs off of Angel Dust, and then just the singer from My Morning Jacket, that's what came out. Thanks for hanging with me while I made that connection. Because I was like, dude, it just sounded so much like Angel Dust to me, that song in particular. It's in my honorable mentions. I fucking love the song. But you get songs like that, Touch Me, I'm Going to Scream Part 1. And then you get Sek Walkin', which is like a 90s country fucking song. It's like got Neon Moon kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah, there's like some country feels to this album.
Very.
Also,
a little bit.
Mixed with the indie. I heard of these guys from The Waterfall, that album that came out like in late 2010s.
They do have a lot of albums.
They have a lot of albums. I feel like they've been consistent with the members. Am I right?
I think so.
Because
yeah.
it sounds like it's the
They have a lot
same.
of changes in the lineup.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's the same singer.
Jim
that
James. Yeah.
To with that album. Only Memory Remains on that album. Last song on the album, super good. It's like 7 minutes. Listen to it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a good song.
But yeah, this album also really fucking good. Because I'd heard of these guys, I was like, okay, I kind of know what I'm getting into, but was not expecting this, and it to be this good, really. Because yeah, you have the Touch Me songs, because this guy really wants to get touched. He did a part 1 and part 2 at the beginning and the end of the album. Then you have songs like Thank You Too and Remnant. Yeah, just really good stuff. And for that year, I was looking at it, and it was nominated for a Grammy, and it lost to Rainbows. By Radiohead.
Another fan. That is
Yeah.
That is a tough decision to make between this and In Rainbows.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, I don't think it's recency bias. I think In Rainbows definitely not Radiohead's strongest album.
I was gonna say I don't. Yeah.
But
I'm.
I think they're so evenly contested that's like a hell of a that's a hell of a thing to try to decide between.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, whoa, like, okay. I didn't know Rainbows came out in 07.
Yeah.
So this came out in 08. Why it was in the same, I don't know. Who cares? But
Well, because it's the way the Grammys.
Grammys also stupid.
Yeah, they have the weird. It's like not a calendar year type of thing for eligibility.
But it doesn't matter. This album, it doesn't take it away from how good it is. Like it's really good. Definitely listen to it. Yeah, man. It's one of those things where like you hear the band and you're like, okay, I know they're good. But then you get introduced to like another side of them and you're like, whoa, this is like way better. Like I'm more into this band now.
Yeah.
That's how I feel for this.
And I feel like their discography progresses like from their earlier stuff where it's more acoustic-y indie, and it kind of progresses to this full band sound where they're more twangy and they're a little bit more indie and they're a little bit more rock and they're a little bit more 80s, funky. Rick James, kind of highly suspicious.
Yeah.
So I like their sound. They're all good musicians.
Yeah.
And this album kind of stretches across all those things. And they do a good job at it.
That was the thing, to kind of expound on my point earlier, is that was the thing that kept me coming back, was because it was no song was like the last. Like it just kept, every song was different in its own right. I mean, shit, like, and that's what's wild. Like, if you look at the top threes for any of us, I'm sure it's like there's aspects of the song that take it away from the main genre of whatever they are. It's like, again, with the countryside, but then you've got Librarian, which is like a folk, like Shire melody, like, and I'm like, yeah, I get. I'm like, hey, I get what you're saying, man. I do like me a library. I get
a lot of things that you're pulling from, different references. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
But yeah, that's what made me keep coming back to it. Because I was like, there's no way, and I was like, no, all right, then, yeah, all right. Well, we'll give that. We'll come back tomorrow. Well, guess what? It's still the same. Yeah. None of it makes sense, but it is so. The fact that it's all so different is wild, that it is such a good cohesive, like, all around project.
Yeah, there's different parts to the album where it switches, where it has the indie feel, it has the folk, it has country, and then some of it's like more fast paced, like you have Smoking from Shooting. I feel like is a little bit like that. Yeah, they tie it all together really well. They tie it all together really well, and for them to have been doing it that long and to have that many projects, to still have that like creativity is, it's awesome. And seeing the difference, the contrast from this to their newer stuff. I'd heard stuff off of Z also, which is earlier than this. So yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. My Morning Jacket, like a band that I didn't think I would be too into, and then recently I've been getting introduced to more of their stuff, and like definitely give them a listen.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think I just picked it up and started listening because of the title or their band title.
Yeah,
it's like weird.
Yeah,
I was like, this sounds cool.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to seek it out, but you had mentioned that there's like an American Dad episode.
Yeah,
that uses
it's called My Morning something.
Yeah, My Morning Straight Jacket is what it's called, and during the pandemic, I got into both that and Family Guy. I just turned into like a huge Seth MacFarlane fan, and I meant to take time and like search that episode out and rewatch it. But after listening to this so many times, it's like, oh, I 100% remember everything. The episode title, I'm like, I am pretty sure I know exactly what you're talking about, and that in and of itself is hilarious because when you listen to the album in itself, cover to cover, it has like everything's so all over the place that it's like, yeah, this could be a soundtrack for something.
Could be,
like it might as well be, because it's like, oh, you've got the building the storyline song, the nice little soft, and then it's like, oh, here's the intense like conflict and climax, and it's very fun. It's a very fun album to kind of see what you could do with it in that regard. You know what I mean? So shout out.
Yeah. It had, because I wrote it down. It had "Touch Me, I'm Going to Scream 2." Highly Suspicious, Remnants, and then
in
the episode. Yeah, it had like 4 songs in the episode.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the whole episode was pretty much.
I think they were even featured in the episode. Themselves.
Yeah, they were playing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, fuck, I know I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, Stan gets obsessed with them.
Okay.
Because Haley likes them.
Of course,
that's great. Funny.
Love it. Well,
yes, wrap it up, man.
I guess. Yeah, take us away.
Top 3. Probably everybody's honorable mention, I don't know, at least mine, Highly Suspicious, just because it encapsulates what they can do with their sound and how they can change it. Number 3, Touch Me, I'm Gonna Scream Part 1. Number 2, Sec Walkin', and then my title or favorite track is gonna be Part 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Honorable mentions for me, the very last song. No, I'm kidding. The one that's just like, you ready?
That's it.
No. Honorable mentions for me, Touch Me Part 2 and Highly Suspicious. Number 3, Sec Walkin'. It just threw me for such a loop. I was like, I love that. Number 2, Librarian. And number 1, Touch Me Part 1.
Nice.
Just, that song alone kind of goes enough places for me to be like, this is a good representation for the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also in my top 3. Honorable mention, I'm gonna go Smoking from Shooting and Part 2. Touch Me, I'm Gonna Scream. Top 3, number 3, Remnants. Number 2, Thank You 2. And then my favorite, Touch Me Part 1.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad you guys liked it. Go look up Tyrone. The cover, it's so good. It's so good.
Hell yeah. Well, there you have it. Evil Urge is My Morning Jacket, 2008, Matt's pick for this week, which wraps up episode 61 of Whatchu Spinnin'. We'll be right back to, guess what? Introduce what's coming next time, right here on Whatchu Spinnin'. Can't get enough of your love.
I only want to be with you.
You got to do that with your mouth. Oh, turtle. Like a turtle beak.
Where the hootie at, man?
Where the hootie at? Hootie sounds like prison wine.
What's it called?
Hooch.
It has a name to it. Prison wine.
Hooch.
There's another name besides hooch.
Oh shit. Toilet wine.
Yeah, it has a funky name to it. It's gonna bother me. I'll look it up later.
All right. Well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Pruno?
Go to my
Pruno. Is it?
Pruno. Yeah, Pruno. God damn it! Son of a
tastes like that. That's what it is.
God damn it! All right. Well, we're here to go ahead and send you off and let you know what's coming next episode. To do that, we go in order that we just talked about. Today's album's in, which means your boy is up first. And I'm kind of staying within the past 5 years, kind of like I did with Idols. And I'm going 2021 with Surrender by Rufus Du Sol. Some great, like, just house stuff, man. One, like I said earlier, one of the groups I got into. Super fucking dope. Yeah.
Love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love
I've heard
that.
a little bit of his stuff, but that's cool.
It's gonna be
great.
good.
I'm gonna go with 2018 Interpol's Marauders. Yeah, listening to Idols. Listening to Arctic Monkeys, Interpol,
Hell yeah.
stuff in that field. So
Nice. That brings us to you.
Yes, I had my pick narrowed down this morning, and then took a little adventure to House of Records. And you know, when you walk in and you hear them playing something, you're like, this is cool. And then I was like, not that cool. And then all of a sudden, all these songs are playing the same artist. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I find out all they have is a CD. I bought the CD. Jamie Branch is the artist. The album's Fly or Die, Fly, World War. Came out in 2023, so it's pretty brand new.
Fly or Die?
Yeah, that's what the album looks like.
Fly or Die.
This is some jazzy.
Okay.
I can't even explain it, but I was like, this has to be talked about.
Okay.
And even the guy's like, dude, this is one of my top 10 jazz albums of all time. I'm like, all right, well.
Rock on, crouton.
Wow.
So I hope you guys like it.
Hell yeah.
I think it'll be fun.
That's gonna be the fact that you. That's like 8 hours in your brain.
Yeah.
That's like literally been in your brain less than 12
And
hours.
I didn't go in the house I was going in there for a totally different reason. All I walked out was just that.
God damn. So some Jamie Branch, some Interpol, and some Rufus Dusel. It's going to be a hell of an episode, boys. Just like this was a hell of an episode. I'm Dorian. Matt, thanks for hosting.
Anytime.
And Jake, thanks for coming. Both of you, thanks for being on the show. And for the lovely people out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Tell a friend. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram at Whatchu Spinnin. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Go ahead, follow me personally, Dorian Dilly on Instagram, Matt at Vinyl Tables at MT Tables. Both posting some pretty cool music stuff. But yeah, also just Whatchu Spinnin on Instagram and everywhere you find podcasts. I'm Dorian. That's Jake. That's Matt. Take it easy. Stay hydrated. Stay warm. Stay dry. Peace.